Hello children, how are you all doing? Myself Divya Sharma from Shivjyoti Educational Group. Today in social science we will be studying chapter 15. Take out your social books, Getting Ahead in Social Studies, chapter number 15, page number 109. Chapter 15, Natural Disasters. In this lesson, you will learn about various natural disasters, disasters caused by earthquakes, floods, cyclones and droughts, the precautions taken during natural disasters. Now children, before we get to know what are natural disasters, first let us understand what is a calamity. An event causing great and often sudden damage is called a calamity. And when these calamities are caused due to natural factors, they are called natural calamities. For example, floods, volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, tsunamis, droughts and hurricanes. Hurricanes are violent storms. Now we will look ahead into these different kinds of natural disasters. First we look into earthquakes. When there is an earthquake, the ground shakes and along with this the buildings shakes too. Due to this, cracks develop in the walls of houses and they may even fall down. As you can look here in the picture, due to an earthquake, cracks have developed on the roads, tall buildings have fallen down, houses have been totally devastated. Example for this is Gujarat earthquake in 2001. A major earthquake is disastrous and can topple down chimneys, cause fires because of the snapping of electric wires, floods because of bursting of dams. Now what happens when the earthquake is very much massive? It causes lot of disasters. Chimneys fall down, and because chimneys fall down it causes fire. How does it causes fire? Because of snapping of electric wires break down which causes fire, and floods occur due to bursting of dams. The government helps in times of need like this by providing tents, beds and food to homeless people. Now during an earthquake, as it has caused a massive damage, the people become homeless. So at this time the government comes for help by providing tents, beds and food for the people who have become homeless. Often the army is called to help the people. Army people are also involved. Japan is a country prone to earthquake. They are also common in few parts of India. Now Japan is a country where earthquakes occur most frequently. Now we will look ahead into important terms related to it. Seismology. The study of earthquakes is called seismology. Seismograph, instrument used to record the shaking of the land. You can underline these two terms in your books as well. Now, how much intensity earthquake occurs? The intensity of an earthquake is measured from 1 to 10 on a Richter scale. We measure the intensity of the earthquake on a Richter scale. Earthquakes of intensity 3 or less are of low intensity and do not cause much damage. Now, the earthquakes which occur to intensity 3 or of low intensity, they do not cause much damage, but an earthquake of intensity 6 or above will cause massive destruction. Here you have the picture showing the Richter magnitude and the amount of damage it causes. Now precautions. What are the precautions you should take during an earthquake? Run out of the buildings immediately to the safest place away from buildings and tall trees where nothing can fall on you. It's very important to come out of the building because if you remain inside the house, the whole roof can crash on your head. And when you come out of the building, also stay away from tall trees. If you are unable to run out, take shelter under a table to protect yourself from falling objects. Do not enter any building after the earthquake stops. There is danger of damaged portions falling later. Now even when the earthquake stops, you should not enter the building immediately because there is always a danger of the aftershocks occurring. Hours after the actual earthquake, even after days, the earth may shake. These are known as aftershocks of earthquakes. Therefore, you should not enter the building immediately after the major earthquake has occurred. Now we will talk about floods. When there is heavy rains, rivers rise above their banks and water enters homes and fields, causing floods. Now whenever there is a rise in the water level, it causes floods. You must have heard about the recent floods which have hit Assam and how it has affected the people living over there. Flood damage the crops, roads and buildings because water enters into the fields, it spreads on the roads and enters into the buildings, so it causes lot of damage. They affect electricity and water supply, transport and communication. Electricity power is cut, and then it also affects the water supply. All the kind of water, sewage water, sea water and river water get mixed up and makes the water dirty. Transport facilities are also affected and also communication services are affected. There are no networks. There is shortage of food, drinking water and shelter. It also results in shortage of food, drinking water as well and also shelter. People have to leave their homes. Many people and animals may die due to hunger, thirst and diseases. At this time there is more danger of diseases occurring. Waterborne diseases occur at this time, so you have to be very careful. Advantages. Now there are some advantages of floods as well. Flood water brings new soil with it from the hills. It spreads over the land when there are floods and makes the land more fertile. Now the flood water which brings in the new soil from the hill, the water is coming down and it spreads over the land, which makes the land area very fertile. Now what precautions you should take at the time of floods? You should watch out for the warnings in the newspapers, radio and television. Prepare to move out of your house to a safer place on higher ground. Build up your store of food, water and essential medicines. High embankments constructed along rivers prevent from entering the land. Embankments are walls or barriers which are constructed so that the flood water does not enter the land. So these are some of the precautionary measures you should take when there is situation of a flood. Now cyclones. A cyclone is a very strong wind accompanied by very heavy rain. Cyclones come along with very heavy rain. You must have heard about the recent cyclone Amphan, which has hit the eastern Indian states, and also the cyclone Nisarg, which has hit the Indian state of Maharashtra, and how much massive damage it has caused. Cyclone is a common sight in coastal areas. Now cyclones mostly occur in coastal areas. The strong wind causes high waves called tidal waves in the sea, which leads to flooding of the coastal areas. As you can see the satellite picture of a cyclone taken from above, the wind pushes all the water towards the shore, and as the water pushes towards the shore, it leads to flooding over the coastal areas. States of Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, West Bengal, Gujarat and Maharashtra are often hit by cyclones and floods, as these lie in the coastal areas. Now precautions. Weather forecasters study the weather and can predict cyclones. A warning is given to people over the television, radio or the newspaper. When cyclones happen, rescue teams come to help. They could be people from the community or government agencies. You all must have noticed that during all these kinds of natural disasters, either the government or even some times the community people come out for help. Army is also called to airlift stranded people as well as to airdrop food and medicines. Now often the army is called to airlift the stranded people, the people who have got stuck over there, to airlift those people, and also they drop in the foods and medicines which are required at that time. Government also set up relief camps for the homeless. Government set up accommodation for the people who have become homeless. Doctors are also put on duty to prevent outbreak of diseases like cholera, gastroenteritis and typhoid. Gastroenteritis is stomach flu. Now drought. A drought is a dry period with rainfall below the average. This kind of situation occurs when the rainfall is very less or it is below an average. That leads to the condition called drought. You can see in the diagram everything is barren, very dry. Drought affected states are Uttar Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Gujarat, Odisha. Rajasthan and Tamil Nadu. Now what are the effects of drought? Rivers and ponds dry up and crops cannot grow. Livestock and other animals perish due to shortage of fodder and water. As the rivers and ponds all dry up, and also it affects the livestock and animals, they die due to the shortage of food and water. Wind erosion stripes land of its topsoil and causes soil erosion. Now what happens? As the wind blows, it takes away the topsoil and thereby resulting in soil erosion. Poor monsoon rains are also cause groundwater levels to dip sharply, and people in cities do not get water in their taps. Now as the rainfall is very less, it also depletes the underground water level. During severe drought, people die due to shortage of food. This is known as famine. Now at this time, there is shortage of food, and shortage of food results in a situation called famine. And famine further causes widespread diseases which leads to epidemics. Outbreak of a disease, large scale outbreak of a disease is nothing but epidemics. Your COVID-19 has been declared as pandemic because it has spread across the world. So there is difference between these two terms. Now prevention, afforestation, which will increase rainfall. As you all know that planting more and more trees will result in increase of rainfall. Water harvesting, which increases the underground water level. As you can see in the picture over here, instead of letting the rainwater to run off like that, we can collect it in a roof-like surface, and through a pipe it can be collected in a tank or by digging a deep pit in the ground or in the reservoirs. Reservoirs are nothing but artificial natural lakes which can be used as a supply of water. Dams on rivers store excess water in the reservoirs. Now dams which are built on the river, they store the excess water which is stored further in the reservoirs. Now we will talk about tsunami. A tsunami is a series of very high waves created by some disturbance under the sea, such as underwater earthquakes, volcanic eruptions or landslides. As you can see in the picture over here, these waves are up to 1 to 20 meter high, and you can see how much damage they can cause to the areas which lie under it. And these may be caused due to underwater disturbance, it may be due to earthquakes or volcanic eruptions or landslides. The waves in a tsunami can range in height from 1 meter to 20 meters. They travel up to hundreds of kilometers an hour. The traveling speed is hundreds of kilometers per hour, hence causing great damage. Now precautions you should take during a tsunami: do not go near the shore. You should not go near the shore, you should always stay towards the land. It is best to be on the landward side of the house, away from the windows. Listen for warnings from the local officials. Move to a higher ground. Relief work during a natural calamity. Besides the government, several non-government organizations which are NGOs are involved in helping the people. Some of them are the Red Cross Society. Red Cross Society provides immediate help at the time of natural disasters by providing clothing, food, shelter. World Health Organization WHO, it is responsible for international public health, and during this COVID-19, how it has helped out by providing the essential supplies like gloves, kits, protective wear, and also it has ensured that the patients get the proper care they need, and it has also provided with preventive measures to be taken for the spread of this virus. United Nations Children's Fund, that is UNICEF, it is responsible for the general welfare of the children. It also looks into the health and education of the children. Like during this present scenario, it has ensured that the children are connected to the education, and it is also working towards to minimize the spread of virus and its overall impact on the children worldwide. So this was all about the chapter. Read the chapter at home thoroughly. Thank you very much.